Um, I mean, it's not an easy answer, or it's not a yes or no answer, honestly, at this point. But I don't think it would be at this point. I know there's quite a bit of talk, and there's a lot of media around this, and maybe it's not a popular opinion either. But I don't think so. I mean, firstly, I think this would take quite a while before it can get to that point where it would be, and I would assume there is going to be a lot of consequences because of this socioeconomically. So I would rather imagine having more guardrails and guidelines and regulations, a lot of good things to tighten up the industry and help the ecosystem, but going to the extent of breaking the company or doing something that extreme is something that I don't think is on the cards. Again, based on what I'm reading, based on what I'm hearing, it's a bit of a maybe a counter opinion, but that's how I see it. I think a firm stand. I think the cookie depreciation was a bit of a surprise. When I read that article, I thought it was a fake news or something like that. I had to read it twice, like in different publications before being sure that that is what is happening. And they need to take a firm stand because cookies have been integral part of advertising, and people like me, companies like us, use that for a lot of things to make sure our acquisition works the way it works. And for a while, we were all building new things or improving stuff to actually go away, and now suddenly there's this big U-turn. So it would be really important for Google to like stick to its position and then clear the ambiguity a bit. But maybe now they have finally. But still, I think there's quite a bit of question around how is this going to still continue? Like what kind of settings and what kind of changes would really happen and when it would happen. So I think that a bit more information on that would be really helpful for advertisers. I think as long as it's done with the right conscience, it is. I mean, I agree that if there are things that are not fair and not correct is done, then we need to. And also these rules, these regulations, be it in US, maybe EU is a lot further along and there's a lot more strong regulations. But in US, some of these laws are 100 years old. So I think it's really important for these to be updated, and we need to see it in the lens of 2024. And I think the awareness is now coming in. I see a lot more people talking about it. So I think this is a very good thing. And I think this needs to be the standard, and it's not like a one-time thing. These regulations have to be constantly updated, and I mean it's not a one-time thing, it's an always on. I think, like I was talking about, the awareness of it is quite little. There is two different ecosystems that I see. A lot of advertisers, especially on the startup scale up phase where acquisition is their like bread and butter and Google is the integral part of it. There's that one ecosystem, and then there is this big ecosystem with DSPs and SSPs. And I sometimes I feel like these two worlds seem so close to each other, but for some reason they don't interject as much as they should be. So these conferences, these talks is going to be so much helpful to see the story from both sides and the awareness of it, and it's going to only help with some good ideas and thoughts for moving forward.